Hey guys, this is me, KO, repping Arsenal transfers and analysis, and this will be a preview of the Arsenal versus Stoke City game, which kicks off at 3 p.m. UK time on Saturday. So after two international football, European qualifiers, etc., we're finally back to proper football. The Premier League is back this weekend, and in starting off with our history with Stoke City, obviously there's a lot of animosity, a lot of hatred between the two clubs, and I think in terms of Arsenal's hatred, it's definitely rightfully so. We've got this hatred, especially considering that Aaron Ramsey injury in 2010, which was absolutely horrific by Shawcross. And just looking at last season itself, in this exact same fixture last season, Arnautovic injured and barged Debussy off the ball, and he was out for 4 or 5 months. In the away fixture, Charlie Adam, I'm sure you all seen the pictures, where he holds Sanchez in a choke hold like that, but he didn't give a foul. So obviously, there's a lot going on between the two clubs. In recent games at home, we've comfortably beaten Stoke, and I expect something like the same, hopefully on Saturday, because we should be beating these kind of teams at home. But looking at our recent Emirates form, it's been worrying. We haven't been scoring goals as fluently as we would like to, basically. And you have to look at it properly and analyse, why is this happening? Is this an anomaly, or is this a trend that is starting to crop up? Are teams figuring out how to counter our style of play? Sit back in numbers, counter-attack with pace, because a lot of these mid-table Premier League clubs are being much more potent, especially in the last couple of seasons, on the counter, with all these new players coming into the Premier League due to all the new money from TV deals, etc. They're not able to get players that are much more better at playing on the counter, more pace, more trickery. We've seen Montero ripping apart Ivanovic, and he's supposed to be one of the best right backs in the league, so you can see that trend cropping up. But it doesn't, other teams are scoring at home. I mean, they're facing similar problems. Man City are facing similar problems. You got Man United, even though they're not freely scoring, but they're still scoring goals at home. And then you look at Arsenal, who just can't score, just cannot seem to score at home. We lost our first game against West Ham 2-0. Against Liverpool again, even though Ramsey's goal should have been given onside. Regardless, we got 0 goals in that game, and that's what the scoreline says, 0-0. So that is definitely a problem we need to address. Wenger did talk about the fact that he's not worried about scoring goals, but now we have Welbeck's injury. And I didn't do a video, I'm sure you all seen my video straight after the transfer window closed when I was shouting at Wenger. I had a rant, I'm sure you all seen it. But in terms of what that was before I knew about Welbeck's injury. Now that we have Welbeck injured also, I think grudgingly we have to get behind Jude. There is no other option. He will be our main striker. If we want to win trophies this season, he will be the man to fire us to trophies, because we have no one else. And I think right now, he's the best of what we got, to be honest. People were hoping that Welbeck might, step up as soon as he comes back from injury. He will step up and maybe get a good amount of goals, but he looks to be out for the majority of the season. Wilshere will probably come back into training next week. So now we're left with Jude as our only proper centre-forward option. Obviously, Sonogo, Akpom all on loan. But talking about our striking options, I've seen quite a lot of people shouting for, having Sanchez as our striker. Similar to the kind of Suarez and Aguero type, where he can learn into play in the similar, as he plays, he's the all South American. They play in that similar style, and you can mould him into a centre-forward. However, even though that would allow other players like Ramsey maybe to come into the centre, will we have that adaptation time? Will we be given that time period to adapt into a position? Do we have that kind of leeway, especially as we're already 5 points off Man City at this early stage of the season? That is the question. Will he, go into that position and, play extremely well? Last season, played a few games that season, and he didn't really play extremely well. He played much more better on the left, and he scored the majority of his goals from that position. But he is an option there, because if we did play Sanchez there, we'd probably put Cazorla in more advanced attacking position, put Ramsey in the centre, allow Chamberlain or Walker, who both impressed on international break, one of those two to play. But it's a good problem for Arsene Wenger to have in terms of that midfield options. Definitely a good problem to have. I definitely don't want to see Walker playing again in the centre forward role. Maybe in a few cup games, but not in the Premier League. I don't think he's suited. He's only suited to about probably 10% of our games. I mean, because his style of centre forward play is very, very specific to certain opponents. And don't you have that kind of like, again, leeway to experiment and trial it in the Premier League, where every game, there is no easy game basically. Every game is a tough game. But that would be interesting to see what Wenger does on Saturday. Koscielny and Mertesacker, Wenger's both come from the both fully fit. Even though Gabriel impressed in the 2 games that he did play before the international break when Mertesacker was not available, I don't think Wenger will go away from his trusted pair in Koscielny and Mertesacker. I think the back four will probably be the typical back four with checking goals, but the midfield and attack, quite interesting to see if Wenger does play Sanchez in the centre. Will he stick with the same team that he usually plays with Cazorla in the middle? Quite interesting. Will Ozil be pushed out to the left wing, even though he's been given assurances to play in a cam role? To be honest, I have no idea. I'm not really sure. Wenger obviously must have something up his sleeve, but regardless of who plays where and who plays whatever, the main thing is the 3 points. We need to kick off this hard period of games with 3 points. We've got Chelsea soon, Tottenham in the Capital One Cup, so we need to, this period, September is an extremely tough month for us. Start off with 3 points and hopefully you can move on from there. That's it for today. Please leave a like, rating, subscribe if you're new. Take care guys and peace.